Folks, here at DonBest.com with Bruce Marshall, I'm Brian Blessing. Let's get you ready for Seattle's cross-country trip to Carolina. Looking at the number, Bruce, Panthers 3, total on the game's 43.5 or 44. Let's just start with that long-standing angle that has been a graveyard for a lot of teams, West Coast teams, going all the way across country east for a breakfast football game. And trust me when I tell you, we talk about the trip going to Seattle being a nightmare. That's a long flight for these guys, worse than the other West Coast teams.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a little further away for Seattle, and this is really a long way back to Charlotte.
It's about as long as it gets. The only thing longer would be Miami.
Miami, Seattle will be the only one longer. Maybe Jacksonville from here. But, I mean, it's a long haul for Seattle, and the Seahawks had some trouble out on the road last week against St. Louis, which isn't as far away as Carolina. But in the bigger deal, Seattle thus far in 2012, Brian, home road. They've won and covered both at home, and they've lost and failed to cover both on the road. So this might be a developing trend we want to watch with the Seahawks.
One thing that's been happening with Seattle, regardless of if it's a win or a loss, they're close football games. But Wilson, listen, he's a kid. There's going to be a lot of growing pains. They are hard-pressed to put a lot of points on the board.
They are, Brian, and I'm wondering right now about the direction and if Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, might be looking at a change at quarterback here pretty soon. Hey, listen, if they're going to run an offense in which Pat Buchanan might as well be the offensive coordinator, very conservative, run, pass for Russell Wilson, hey, this is putting the rookie quarterback in a tough spot. They might as well go to Matt Flynn if they're going to run an offense like this. If they want to do something a little bit different with a veteran West Coast default option at quarterback, Flynn might be better. They're sticking with Wilson. I don't like this play calling, though. They're making it very hard on the rookie.
It's funny when you just sometimes, again, you look at the number, and we've seen massive overreactions. This is one I think there has been no reaction, and there should be. Carolina, took Atlanta to the mat last week, and I know they've been a tad inconsistent, but boy, this just screams out Carolina to me, and it should be a number I think should be more in the 4.5, 5, maybe even 6 range. I think without doubt it's a number that goes through 3 at some point.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, Brian. I think the one thing that might be keeping the public a little bit cool on the Panthers as far as a couple of their games, they've looked very bad. Now, they have looked good, and maybe that was a sign of progress last week against the Falcons. A couple weeks ago against the Giants, though, no show. Couldn't run the ball in the opener against the Bucs. That's also another recurring theme. Running the football has been a problem for Carolina, and against this defense, that might be a problem, Brian, because Seattle allowing just 3 yards per carry.
And it's funny, I think maybe if you're going in the zigzag mode here, maybe if we do see an appearance by Flynn, you noted, Bruce, Seattle's a team that's 4-0 to the under. This is not a team I don't think that can really keep pace with Carolina if they get out of the gate quickly, which they did last week. I think there might actually be a little value in the over in this spot.
Well, there might be. I mean, and especially if Seattle does something offensively, if they switch the quarterbacks. To this point, though, the combination of defense and that low-risk offense has meant unders. It's been 4-0 for Seattle. That hadn't been the case prior to this season for the Seahawks. I'm not sure if that endures. I do know, though, this defense comes to play every week. Carolina's going to have trouble moving the ball.
Yep, well, the final footnote I would say with that Seattle pass rush, maybe they meet their match here. It's a different animal with the elusive Cam Newton in the backfield. A little different when you're chasing around Cobb in Bradford.
Yes, it is. And sometimes that over-aggression for Seattle also can work against them a little bit in the run game. We saw the Rams on counters and draws last week and some traps have some success. But the Giants did stuff that Carolina running game 2 weeks ago. They clogged the escape routes for Cam. I think there's your difference in the game. That's where it's going to be decided on Sunday.
Good stuff, Bruce. I'm Brian Blessing. As always, we thank you for stopping by DonBest.com. Check the odds screen out. It has all the pertinent information for each and every NFL game.